Tell me, how did the siege of Kuttenberg go?
Ah, mon ami, poorly, poorly, but what could I do? Stand down from leading the defense like a coward? After all, I had to live up to my reputation. And at the time, it did not look hopeless at all. I thought it would be enough to stall Sigismund for a while before the Allied army arrived. And that would not have been so difficult.
Only no army arrived.
Précisément. The hope for a swift end melted away, and the courage of the burghers along with it. I, who fought in 5 countries, was relieved of command, arrested, and handed over to Sigismund.
What other countries have you fought in?
In Italy, against the English, here of course, and I will tell you about the others another time. In the meantime, however, I can pass on some of my experience to you. After all, I am not getting any younger, so it is time to pass my wisdom on to future generations.
I'd like to learn.
It will take some time, and a few groschen, mon ami. Acquiring my art came at great cost, so I cannot pass it on for free. Especially now when I have been injustly stripped of my possessions, and I must rely only on my sharp wits. Ainsi va le destin. So, what would you like to know?
Baron Brabant, tell me a little about the world beyond the borders of our little country.
Mon ami, the world is so big and there is so much to tell, but you want to hear only a little? What to choose from that inexhaustible fount of wisdom? Ah, je sais. Opportunity is like a ladder. You must seize it with both hands, climb to the top, and knock it down behind you. Remember that, jeune Henri? And now, let me give you another piece of wisdom. Allons-y, mon ami. Let us not waste any time.
I'd like to learn something.
It will take some time, and a few groschen, mon ami. Acquiring my art came at great cost, so I cannot pass it on for free. Especially now when I have been injustly stripped. So, what would you like to know?
As a knight, you must know how to fight with a polearm as well.
Certainement, but not with a halberd or some other farm implement. Such things are good only for, les Anglais. I would only ever use a proper poleaxe. 6 feet long, with a blade topped with a spike, for piercing heavy armor. Only such a polearm is worthy of a knight, and I shall demonstrate why. Allons-y, mon ami. Let us not waste any time.
Innkeeper, a beer!
What do you think of our band of outcasts?
Well, I cannot say I expected to end up in this kind of company. I am more used to royal courts or, at least, wealthy burghers. But a man must accept his destiny as it comes.
What do you think of Zizka?
Le Chevalier Jan? Well, he's not doing badly for a minor nobleman, but I think he will never be accepted among the higher nobles and knights. That takes a lot more. Mark my words. I am a good judge of people.
How do you get on with Sir Hans?
Oh, young Lord Chapon may be inexperienced and hot-headed at times, but he's the one of the few here who knows how to play chess. And I have a great respect for chess players. Needless to say, he has not managed to beat me yet. Godwin and Zizka can also play. Ah, and that devil in press clothing beat me. Merde.
Have you met Godwin?
The priest who is very skilled with a sword. Priests should not be such good swordsmen. That is what knights like me are for. In addition, he can play chess just as well as he wields a sword. And in drinking wine, he beats even the best Frenchmen. A man of talents. Or perhaps the devil is behind it.
Have you had the chance to meet my half-brother yet?
Samuel, it is strange that he joined our group. It is not usual for his people. But he's certainly a good reinforcement.
What do you think of Sir Hynek?
Ah, le diable sec. A capable chevalier. But I do not trust him. There is treachery in his eyes.
You think so?
My instinct rarely lets me down.
What do you think of Kubienka?
A good warrior. But he has no morals and no manners. Like all mercenaries.
Well, I don't think he cares much about that.
And that is just the problem. How can you trust a man who does not want to be a knight?
How do you get on with Janosch and Adder?
Oh, those two. Once in Kuttenberg, I also had a servant who pretended not to understand me and thought I did not understand him when he spoke German in my presence. But he was wrong. He is no longer my servant.
Sir Vaculin, you've had an exciting life. Tell me some stories.
Bien sûr. Your interest is gratifying and quite understandable.
Where does the name Brabant come from?
That is simple. My compatriots call me that because I am originally from Brabant province. And the name stuck. One day, I shall tell you about my place of birth, but I am sure you would long to hear about the conquest of Arezzo, yes? Or would you rather hear how I saved the King of France from certain death?
How did you save the King of France?
With Providence as my guide, mon ami. I came to the court from the field of battle to bring news of our victory, because, and remember this, the bearer of good news is always rewarded and cherished. But the king was in a bad mood and did not wish to be disturbed. Maybe I thought the news of our victory will dispel his ill humor.
How could you tell him if he didn't want to be disturbed?
Ha! I climbed up to his balcony and into his chambers to surprise him with the joyful tidings. And lo and behold, the king was writhing and gasping on the floor, overcome by one of his fits. Wasting not a moment, I dashed over to him and unblocked his throat, thus saving his life. In return, the king bestowed on me the title of Échanson, or cupbearer, and other generous gifts. And I then spent a while in his service at court. Unfortunately, though, even the king's favor does not last forever, and minor mistakes can come to overshadow good deeds.
What happened at court that led to you being out of favor?
Well, perhaps I shall tell you some other time. Would you not rather hear about the glorious duel between Le Gris and Carouge?
Arezzo sounds interesting.
And so it was. That is where I earned my knighthood from the great Enguerrand de Concy himself, the commander of our Naples campaign. Enguerrand arranged his forces for battle, and I was put in charge of one of the cavalry units. Out of nowhere, the enemy appeared on our unprotected flank, and Enguerrand set me to hold them back so our main force could regroup. But I saw a gap in the enemy's main phalanx. I sounded the charge and sped forwards.
Wasn't that rather risky?
Un chevalier français fears nothing.
I reckon King Sigismund would think otherwise after Constantinople.
That was completely different. Alors, I caught them by surprise. I hacked my way to their standard and broke through all the way to the enemy's reservoirs. My attack sowed confusions in the enemy's ranks that encouraged the overlords who raced to join me, scattering everything in their path. And that is how we won the famous victory at Arezzo. Seeing that the force that was supposed to protect them had been routed. The city then surrendered to us. No doubt you had no inkling at Maleshov what a knight you had the honor to meet. And of course my feats on the field of battle do not end there.
Thank you for telling me the story. It was really interesting.
At your service.
Tell me about Brabant province. Is it far from here?
Quite far. From Bohemia, you would go to Bamberg and then follow the river Main until it joins the Rhone. Then you sail down the Rhone until it reaches the sea. And there, between the river and La Flandre, you will find Brabant, with its wealthy cities. Anvers, Bruxelles, Louvain, and many others. But those three cities are the equal of Paris, Rome, or your Prague. Both the Dukes of Burgundy and the Imperial Princes would like to annex our land to theirs, because its flourishing trade has made it rich. But like everywhere else, you can only come into wealth by birth or by enterprise, which is how I did it.
How did you end up here?
Leaving the court with a modest sum, I launched to visit faraway lands. I traveled a lot, spending time in various countries, and having many great adventures. When I learned that l'Empereur Charles, that great friend of France, had built the magnificent city of Prague in Bohème, I had to see it.
So people in foreign countries speak highly of Prague?
Bien sûr! It was abroad that I heard of King Wenceslas' silver city and its reputed vast wealth. I bought the abandoned Miskowitz estates and shares in the Kuttenberg mines. And for a time I settled here to provide for myself and wait for King Wenceslas, whom I wished to serve. But even here fate did not let me be. When Sigismund brought his army to the city, I appointed myself to lead its defense. For how better to make King Wenceslas aware of me than by saving his beloved city? Victory was assured, but the burghers had other ideas. The city was handed over to the enemy, and I with it, stripped of my possessions. I languished in captivity, until fate again stepped in by sending you to Maleshov.
Sir Vaclin, I'm surprised how well you speak our language. Where did you learn it?
Where do you think? Here, of course. Ce n'était même pas difficile. Perhaps I have already mentioned that I am guided by Providence? She endowed me with many talents, mastery of language among them. I can communicate almost everywhere in the world, and learn every new tongue in a trice. I now speak French, German, Italian, Latin, Hungarian, and Czech. Some English, though that is only a necessary evil.
Luckery and Cargouche. Sounds like a pair of jesters.
En aucun cas. Jacques le Gris and Jean de Carouge. These two great knights were in a legal dispute over an estate. But above all, when de Carouge was on a campaign, Le Gris fornicated with his wife. She claimed that he had raped her, while he said he had seduced him. And because everyone swore to their own truth on the Bible, the matter had to be settled by combat. First, they jousted. Then they fought on foot with sword and axe. Le Gris thought victory was in his grasp, but de Carouge suddenly pounced on him, wrested him to the ground, and beat him so terribly that he knocked off his helmet and cuirass. Even so, Le Gris refused to admit his guilt, and de Carouge drove a dagger through his neck. And if you promise not to tell, I will let you into a secret about that dagger.
Tell me the secret. I promise I'll keep it to myself.
Bien. As I say, the Carouge killed Le Gris with a dagger. And I found that dagger in the mud after the duel. A blessed blade, an instrument of divine justice. The dagger that ended the last trial by combat France ever witnessed. An item of great value. So, I had several copies made and sold them to rich French noblemen. That is how I first came into wealth. And I used the coin to buy the horse and armor I needed to set off in pursuit of glory in battle.
Ha! That was a good idea. I'd never have thought of that.
You still have a lot to learn, mon ami. But you're young, you have plenty of time. Just keep your mind and eyes open, like I did. It was one of the greatest things I ever saw, and I have seen a lot. Believe me. Half of France came to watch, including the king himself, who then banned trial by combat in France forever. I later told the story to anyone who was interested. One of my listeners, a certain Froissart, wrote my icon down and became famous. I could have written it myself, of course, but I am happy to help others find success.
What other feats have you performed in battle?
Oh, many, mon ami. For one battle does not make a warrior. It would take a week to recount them all, so I will just tell you about my second greatest feat. On the Italian field, we faced John Hawkwood, a ruthless Englishman and a fearsome warrior. Surrounded, we were at his mercy. Night fell, and we knew he would attack at dawn, and that would be it. But just then, Providence put an idea in my mind.
Well, don't keep me on tenterhooks. Go on.
Unobserved, I mounted my horse and set off to find help. And, La Dame Chance was exceedingly kind to me that day. As I rode away, by chance, I stepped it off of our horses. Thinking we were trying to break through, Les Anglais went to head them off. But while the English were occupied with Myceli, our units managed to flee. I saved many men from certain death that night, and many lords from the disgrace of capture. Needless to say, I was generously rewarded for my valor.
Thank you for telling me the story. It was really interesting.
At your service.
Thanks for sharing your stories with me, Sir Backlin. I'd like to learn some.
It will take some time acquiring more, especially now. So,
When I was working on the vineyard, this noble fella came by one day, and he had a falcon on him. Everyone knows that. No, he had a raven, and he could talk.
Right, falcons can't talk, but ravens chat it up like nobody's business, eh?
Don't believe me then. I mean, he wasn't really talking. More like imitating singing a song.
Good day to you. I apologize.
Laugh all you like. At least I saw something interesting.
Would you show me the swordsmanship technique Commander Nicholas taught you back in Kosovo?
Why not? I'd be happy to show it to you. But whether you understand it is up to you. Oh, at any rate, you need to be quick and thorough. Because for once, you aren't attacking the head directly, but rather the opponent's sword. When you knock it aside, you open up space for a deadly blow. Now come and try it a few times.
It's a beautiful day, isn't it, Henry?
Well, this doesn't seem too bad.
Good morning, Hans.
I'm glad to see you like it. Do you want another?
Henry! You have no idea how glad I am to see you alive and all in one piece. I was really worried about you. I prayed to Our Lady the Protector to watch over you in Kuttenberg. It's good she heard my pleas.
Thanks for putting in a good word. It definitely came in handy, because it wasn't nice at all. Lots of violence and death, countless foes. We could have easily kicked the bucket any moment.
God damn! What happened there?
I don't know if words are enough. Simply, it was just like Skalitz. Confusion, screaming, dying, and then the flames. The worst part came when the gate fell. It was as if the bloody gates of perdition opened for a moment, and hell surged into the world.
God protect us! God damn it! I should have gone there too. I could have been some use at least.
I'm always glad to fight by your side, but you wouldn't have changed anything there. There were too many of them. And when the whole street was thronged, there was no stopping it. All we could do was try to hold back Eric's people as long as possible, so the locals could flee to the synagogue. See, there's a hidden tunnel inside it, leading out of the city.
Fucking tunnels! Ugh. But thank Christ for them. What about Liechtenstein?
He's fine. And he managed to get those mysterious documents of his out. He left with the survivors for Colleen.
Praise God. He's from an old and glorious house. It'd be a dreadful pity if he got left behind. The main thing is you got out. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to thank you properly for coming to Malashov for me.
No need to thank me.
I beg to disagree, my brave and faithful companion. First and foremost, be it known that if you should ever similarly find yourself in captivity, I swear before our Lord Jesus Christ that I shall come for you as you came for me. And secondly, I have something here for you. A truly knightly reward for your knightly deed. A hunting bow that has no equal in the province. I hope it'll brighten your thoughts after all those horrors. It can fell the mightiest buck deer and enchant many a doe. And besides, it has attached to it an enlightening history.
I'm honored. Thank you, friend.
I'll be right there.
Please enlighten me, O noble sir.
According to legend, this bow belonged by right to Margrave Jobst of Moravia, who, however, was not worthy of it. And so, fate decreed that it fell into the hands of a proper knight.
What are you saying?
When I found out that Jobst would gladly leave me locked up, it got my blood up. So, to pay him back, I relieved him of the bow in Raborsch, and it was immediately clear to me that that bow should go to none other than you.
That is certainly just, I'd say.
I knew we'd see eye to eye. It'd be great to try that bow out right away. We could ride out together on the hunt. Wine, bacon, wine, the deep woods, a quiver full of arrows, wine, shoot some deer and celebrate with wine, like we used to do back home.
We only went hunting together once.
Yeah, but it was memorable. Don't tell me you wouldn't like to do it again. But first duty, then some fun, eh? You'd better be going.
It's filthy again. Damn it.
No, he's Celestial.
Here you go. Take it.
Dancing bears wherever they go.
Here we
I'd
are.
like to see one.
Good.
I've seen a talking bird, so why not a dancing bear?
What? What are you on about now?
When I was working on the vineyard, this noble fella came by one day, and he had a falcon with him.
And he had a falcon who could talk.
Falcons can't talk. Everyone knows that. No, he had a raven.
I apologize.
It wasn't really talking. More like hearing.
Greetings, Henry.
You have a kind master, eh, doggy?
You're a bit done in, eh?
Why should I use the Master Strike?
If all you do is defend, you're bound to fail sooner or later. That's why it's better to counterattack. Strike the opponent's weapon from the opposite side. You'll block their weapon while hitting them at the same time. That's what the Master Strike is all about. Usually, you'll be aiming at your opponent's weak point. If you don't win the fight then and there, you'll surely at least injure and stun your opponent. If that's the case, don't stop. Keep attacking before your opponent has a chance to recover.
That's enough for me.
Why did they want to hang you?
I reckon my face bothered them. More likely they're pissed off I'm not a hypocritical fucker like they are.
And that's a reason for execution?
Unlike the hypocrites in the League of Lords, I'm not ashamed of what I am.
I know they call you Dry Devil.
Aye. They call me a lot of things, laddie. And that's what rankles the Lords, that I'm getting rich at their expense. And that's some fucking fat loot they stole from the king.
So you're on the king's side?
I'm on the side of whoever pays me, lad. And I'll tell you one thing. I've never gone back on my word. My noble word is my oath. Unlike that of bastards like von Berger or von Rosenborg.
Have you been at war?
Aye, I fought in Moravia, and I'm still the hetman of the royal city of Znaim. You're just a yokel, so you hardly know what's been going on in the kingdom these last few years.
You're an experienced warrior, so teach me something.
Not a damn thing, lad. Not unless you pay me well. But first, bring me some good wine.
Fine. I'll go and get some. I'd like to learn from a master.
Where's that wine? Nor should I write it down in your diary so you'll remember it.
Again?
Always!
Fine. I'll go and get some.
Some monk who just loved meat. So he had the cellar filled with water up to his ankles and put a couple of pigs in there. Why for? Because when you
I'd like to learn a few things.
It will take some time, but you give me few.
Could you teach me any other?
What you would like?
How do you cook?
You put mud, then you... Ah.
Could you teach me any other recipes?
What you would like?
How is beer soup made again?
First, you need beer, eh? But sweet, not sour piece. Tear up bread, pour beer on top, cook on fire until mush. Put bit of salt, caraway, lovage, bit of butter if you have, nutmeg, egg yolk. All done.
Could you teach me any other recipe?
What you would like?
How was that veal gruel made again?
First you cook whale brain real good, mash up with some red wine and boil in pot. Then add a bit of semolina and saffron that make it yellow. In the end, stir in bit of caraway and big spoon of honey. You know best part, eh? Sprinkle some nuts and cinnamon on it on plate.
Could you teach me any other?
What you would like?
What was that stick again?
Not only feast for stomach, for eyes too. Nice special food to put in middle of table. It can look different ways. Favorite is all kinds of roasted beasts. Dragons, manticores and stuff.
And where can I find such a beast?
There is secret in it. You cannot. You make one. Take bag of piglet, stew on a roaster's head, peacock's tail, feet from hair and roast all together and baste with wine sauce. Crown the beast. Put boiled eggs around. You have feast for king. Eh?
You told me to come back for sausages.
No hurry, eh? Come back when they're ready.
Greetings. What do you need?
Show me your wares.
I'd like to do something about that.
Very well.
One beer.
Satisfied?
That sounds really interesting. Lower your price a little more, and I'll be satisfied. Aye, you'll convince me with that price. Thank you, sir. And come again.
I apologize.
Might have found a place near Kumets. Seems there's a burnt-out mill there we could hide out in.
A burnt-out mill? Not the one just outside Jeffrey, by any chance?
Aye, it had some kind of funny name. Why, do you know the place?
A little. The mill's fine. But how about we go to the road towards Bonnet?
That's not a bad idea. But Morrow is already setting up a job near Kumets. What's got into you?
apologize.
Didn't you say you were from Schoenberg?
I am.
So who could you possibly know in this Shehud?
My brother lives there.
That's a good thing, isn't it? It's always handy having a local who can help us out.
Well, not really. He's the priest there.
Walls like that must cost as much as a farm.
Earlier, you mentioned a bunch of peasants taking up arms against Sigismund.
Aye, a bunch of villagers. But they might be onto something.
How are they trying to fight Sigismund?
Do not imagine anything too grand. Mostly they are just trying to survive. Some time ago, they raided a supply caravan heading to Sigismund's camp. Then the very same supplies turned up with the hungry families in Miskovitz. They are doing a good job. But if they keep stepping on Sigismund's toes like that, he will go after them, and soon.
We could use a band like that.
I agree. But Siska was against it. You saw it yourself. I promised I would not look for them.
So, what are we gonna do?
Well, I'm not going to break my word. But you did not make any such promise, did you?
Do you know where to look for them?
From what I know, they mostly hang around Miskovitz. It seems they use a secret password to recognize their own.
Password? What password?
Fuck. What was it? Ah, I remember. The fox is in the henhouse.
How did you learn their secret password?
When Dry Devil's band broke up, I was looking for a company to join. Then this one time at a tavern, there was this scrawny, drunken loudmouth going on about the peasants' revolt and shouting out the password for all to hear. Some old woman from Miskovitz slapped that lad so hard his chin hit the table.
Right, so I'm supposed to look for a scrawny, drunken loudmouth.
We have plenty of those already. I reckon you ought to talk to the old crone. I have a feeling she might be the way to get to that. Try telling her the password and see what happens.
All right. I hope I won't get slapped too.
Where'd you learn how to shoot so well?
Well, where would you say? It wasn't in the royal palace with that fleshy master archer. You can be sure of that. It's the result of years of practice. You'll soon find out live targets are the best. And if they have two legs, that's better yet. But I have to admit, each year it gets harder to keep my eye on the target. My hands are starting to shake. That's why I need to drink so much. When I'm properly wasted, it cancels out the shaking. And then, my aim's like when I was a lad.
How did you meet Dry Devil?
For the first time? Not in the best of circumstances, that's for sure. A few years ago, my company was attacked near Olomouc, and he spared nobody except for my noble master.
Wait, what was that about?
We were fighting for Margrave Jobst, and he for his brother Prokop.
Why did he let you live?
Because I shot and killed 2 of his men, and crippled 3 others, before he bashed me over the head.
And he just let you go?
Not a chance. I woke tied up with a splitting headache. Dry Devil was all fired up, betting with his men that they'd boost me up.
And what was the catch?
That fucker took me to the ramparts and said that if I piss and hit the ale pitcher down below, he'd let me go. Otherwise, he'd try to hit the ale pitcher with me. The prick.
Wow. You're quite the sharpshooter, Kabyanka.
You bet I fucking am. but you don't know shit about it.
Teach me something, then. I'll happily pay for it.
It'll take some time. But for a few groschen, I'll teach you whatever you want.
So this is a popinjay contest, is it? What exactly do we have to do?
There's nothing to it. You get your arrows, stand on the mark, and shoot down them strawbirds I set up around the range as fast as you can. The winner's the one who knocks down the most strawbirds. If there's a tie, whoever finishes shooting first wins. Any idiot can understand the rules, but that doesn't make it any easier. So if you're not feeling too sure, you'd better see how you get on with the beginners first. You may not win as much because the stakes are lower, but you have a better chance.
Your hand cannons have done us more harm than good.
But we shot that mare beautifully. The devil himself couldn't have aimed any better, and he's skilled with hand cannons.
How long have you been a warrior?
I was supposed to be a carpenter, but the job wasn't for me. Most of the time I couldn't even hit the chisel with my mallet. Then I lost my master's money playing dice, so I had to run away. Then I came across a group of mercenaries, and they hired me. Once I got a taste of money, I chose to stay. So, it's been a while now.
Who taught you how to fight?
No one. I was absolutely awful. But I could drink their command under the table, so they let me stay with them. I learned the rest as I went along.
That commander, was it the devil?
No. I only met the devil later, with another band. I've been through several. Once they stop paying, or you run out of things to steal, it's best to go and try your luck elsewhere.
That's exactly what happened when they captured the devil, isn't it? The band broke up.
More or less, but I think he understands. You see? That's mercenary honor.
What honor?
Exactly. There is none.
Why were you the only one of your band who tried to save the devil?
I don't think I could sleep easy if they actually executed that old bastard. Fuck, I know the devil better than I know my own old man. And he still owes me groschen from our last trade. And I take that seriously.
How do you know Zizka?
I think I know him from the ambush near Prague.
Who did you ambush?
His men actually ambushed us. Actually, the outcome was quite similar. They jumped us at a bend. Before we knew it, blood was spilled. They killed our whole band. I was the only one to survive.
Just you? How so?
I was so fucked up that as I cocked my crossbow, the bowstring broke off and slashed my hands.
And you still have both of them?
Saint Bibiana must have been watching over me. My gloves came off, revealing bloody gashes on my palms, like Christ himself. I reckon they had fun watching me jump around, curse and flail my arms. So they kept me. I kept that bloody bowstring for luck.
God grant you health.
I bring bad news from Kuttenberg. Eric's soldiers and the town rabble have torched the Jewish quarter. Fortunately, we saved most of the people. But I doubt they can form an alliance with us now.
Fuck. Where are they now?
Samuel and the rabbi took those who survived to Colleen.
Shit. We have to find Dry Devil and Capon and decide what to do next.
Well, Samuel said he wants to be around for that, and we should wait for him.
I see. But if he's gone to Colin, he won't be back till tomorrow. Oh well. At least we'll have time to get everything ready.
All right. I'll come tomorrow then.
One beer after another.
You have a kind master, eh, doggy?
Did you hear what happened?
A recruiter from Sigismund's army camp came through here.
Oh, not again. There won't be any men left soon at this rate.
And then they'll start taking women as well. You'll see.
I bet they can't wait for us to join up. Have you ever even held a sword?
Not a sword, but I'm pretty handy with a flail. I reckon bashing some dolt isn't so different from threshing wheat. And what's more, apparently every soldier gets a dozen groschen and a piece of meat every other day.
My God! For that much, I'd even bash the priest over the head with a flail.
isn't it? It's always handy having a local who can help us out.
Well, not really. He's the priest there.
Nobody knows that except old Weathercock. Who? He used to travel with us. Fella had a real gift. He knew exactly what the weather would be like.
I've heard some farmers by the clouds.
Fuck the clouds. Old Weathercock was covered in stars. What? It is neat. He knew it was going to rain. When it was dark,
You have a kind master, eh, Mutt?
I'll be right with you.
My back. Christ! Pardon me.
Oh, what a stench. What the hell are they cooking?